Imagine you're walking through the narrow, winding streets of Jerusalem, a city layered with centuries of history, secrets buried under every step. Suddenly, a story emerges about the discovery of a quiet, ancient tomb that has remained untouched for nearly 2,000 years. But this isn't just any tomb. Inside, the archaeologists found something almost too incredible to believe. Names carved into stone that read, Jesus, son of Joseph. If the remains of Jesus and his family are indeed lying in this hidden tomb, what would it mean for everything we think we know about his life, death, and the very foundations of faith itself? In 1980, construction workers were digging near a busy neighborhood in Jerusalem when they accidentally broke into an underground chamber. At first, it seemed like just another ancient tomb. This is, after all, a city that's practically a living museum. But this particular tomb was different. Inside were 10 limestone boxes called ossuaries, used in ancient times to hold the bones of the deceased. And here's where the mystery begins. Among the names inscribed on these boxes were Mary, Joseph, Matthew, and, most shockingly, Jesus, son of Joseph. The team of archaeologists didn't have much time to examine the tomb back then. They recorded what they could, took a few photographs, and transferred the ossuaries to a museum for safekeeping. However, they swiftly reburied and sealed the tomb, allowing it to remain silent for several decades, as if history desired to conceal this secret. Now, the world's best archaeologists and scientists are turning back to this discovery, armed with tools and technology that were unimaginable back in the 1980s. And in 2024, they might finally have the answers we've been waiting for. One belief is that Jesus rose from the dead and ascended to heaven, not buried in a family tomb. Furthermore, the names on the ossuaries, such as Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, were common in first-century Jerusalem. In fact, many historians have pointed out that dozens of tombs could hold these same names. Finding Jesus, son of Joseph, in a tomb with a Mary and a Matthew changes things. Experts in ancient names and burial customs tell us that the probability of these specific names appearing together in the same tomb is extremely low, almost like finding pieces of a puzzle that fit together perfectly. The Talpiot tomb, as it's known, is not just a dusty chamber filled with old bones and inscriptions. It's a symbol of something far greater. If this tomb truly belongs to Jesus' family, it could indicate that Jesus interred himself here following his crucifixion. Some believers might feel unsettled or even fearful at the thought, but others see it as a way to get closer to the historical reality of Jesus' life. In this hidden tomb lies the potential to bridge the gap between faith and history. While Christian tradition emphasizes Jesus' resurrection and ascension, finding an actual tomb with his name challenges that story in ways that could change beliefs and practices that have existed for centuries. It's no wonder some prefer to leave it alone. Yet the mystery and the questions it raises are too powerful to ignore. In 2024, scientists, historians, and theologians are all coming together to explore the Talpiot tomb further, using tools and techniques unimaginable decades ago. DNA analysis will determine the relationship between these remains, enabling us to explore the possibility that they belong to Jesus' family. Archaeologists will be able to map the burial site and potentially uncover missed artifacts by using new imaging technology to see inside sealed parts of the tomb without disturbing it. For nearly 2 millennia, the account of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection has shaped Christian faith. His crucifixion, burial, and resurrection form the foundation of Christianity. According to the Gospels, after Jesus' burial in a tomb provided by Joseph of Arimathea, his followers discovered the tomb empty, an event signifying his resurrection. For believers, this story symbolizes hope and redemption, a core of Christian teachings. With the Talpiot tomb discovery, science introduced new questions. Was there a possibility that Jesus' family had a burial site in Jerusalem? Could this be the final resting place of his closest kin? While believers lean on scripture and tradition, archaeology challenges us to reconsider historical narratives through the evidence left behind. In this light, the intersection of faith and science becomes a collaborative dialogue as both seek to uncover truths about our shared history. The 1980 excavation only scratched the surface of the Talpiot Tomb's story. With advancements in technology, scientists today have powerful tools to explore ancient remains with remarkable precision. DNA analysis has become a crucial method, allowing researchers to examine relationships between the individuals buried in the tomb. By extracting DNA from the ossuaries, scientists can determine whether these remains belonged to individuals related by blood, perhaps even confirming a familial connection to historical figures like Jesus and Mary. Another significant aspect of the research is carbon dating. Researchers have linked ossuaries to a specific time frame in Jerusalem, but precise carbon dating of any organic material found within the tomb can validate if these remains indeed date back to the 1st century, aligning with the era of Jesus and his family. This level of dating accuracy was not possible during the original excavation, giving 2024 researchers an unprecedented advantage in establishing the tomb's timeline. Additionally, 3D imaging and scanning technologies are providing valuable insights into the tomb's structure without requiring physical disturbance. These non-invasive techniques enable scientists to map the interior and analyze previously overlooked sections. This technology might also reveal hidden markings or symbols, contributing further context to the people and cultural significance of the tomb. From a scientific perspective, one of the most compelling arguments supporting the Talpiot tomb's significance lies in statistics. 1st century Jerusalem had a large population, and many names like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were common at the time. However, in 1996, statistician André Feuerwerger led a study that assessed the likelihood of all these specific names appearing together in one tomb by coincidence. Feuerwerger's calculations suggested that given the specific clustering of names and their family-like arrangement, the odds of the tomb being unrelated to Jesus' family were about 1 in 600. While this statistic doesn't confirm the tomb's identity as that of Jesus' family, it does suggest a strong probability. This statistical context provides a foundation for continued study, as researchers use both statistical analysis and physical evidence to explore the tomb's potential historical significance. Archaeology, by nature, is a science rooted in the physical world, artifacts, structures, and remains that provide insight into how people once lived. But when archaeology intersects with figures as central to belief systems as Jesus, the conversation expands. Faith communities bring an interpretative approach, one that often views historical artifacts through a lens that respects spiritual narratives over material evidence. For many, the belief in Jesus as a spiritual figure doesn't necessitate tangible evidence, and discovering a tomb associated with his family could bolster their faith instead of challenging it. The concept of legacy is more than historical remembrance. It's the transmission of cultural and spiritual values across generations. In the early days of Christianity, followers preserved the teachings and life of Jesus through oral traditions, sacred texts, and later written accounts like the Gospels. These teachings spread far beyond Jerusalem, creating a faith that has impacted millions over the centuries. However, the world Jesus and his disciples inhabited not only influenced this cultural legacy, but also the teachings themselves. The burial customs, names, and familial structures observed in the Talpiot tomb are reminders of the context in which early Christian beliefs emerged. In 1st century Jerusalem, burial practices were an essential part of family legacy. Jewish communities at the time commonly used ossuaries, such as those in the Talpiot tomb, to respectfully store the bones of deceased family members in family tombs. These practices reveal a commitment to honoring loved ones and preserving family history. If the Talpiot tomb does belong to Jesus' family, it represents more than a resting place. It's a testament to how, even in death, families sought to preserve their identity, lineage, and faith. To grasp the significance of the Talpiot tomb in the context of historical continuity, we must look at how Christianity has bridged the ancient world and the modern one. Christianity began as a small movement rooted in the teachings of Jesus, but grew rapidly, spreading through the Roman Empire and beyond. As Christianity expanded, it absorbed and adapted to different cultures, preserving its core beliefs while integrating regional traditions and customs. This process of adaptation while preserving essential beliefs is what historians refer to as historical continuity. In many ways, the legacy of early Christian practices lives on today. For example, baptism, prayer, and communal gatherings continue to be central to Christian worship, though they may look different from their ancient origins. Similarly, the reverence for holy sites and relics has endured through centuries. Many Christians still make pilgrimages to Jerusalem, seeking to walk where Jesus once walked, visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and feel connected to the early days of their faith. The potential significance of the Talpiot tomb taps into this desire for continuity, offering a tangible link to the time of Jesus. If this tomb holds connections to the historical Jesus, it would be a direct, physical link to the origins of Christianity, something that rarely exists for figures from this era. Such a discovery bridges ancient and modern belief, showing how a tradition rooted in the past continues to thrive. This continuity is essential to understanding the staying power of Christianity. It has adapted through history, yet remained deeply connected to its origins. Cultural memory, the way societies remember and venerate their past, plays a crucial role in how we interpret archaeological findings like the Talpiot tomb. For many religious traditions, relics and artifacts serve as focal points of devotion and reminders of the people who shaped the faith. Whether they are bones, clothing, or objects associated with holy figures, relics often hold deep emotional and spiritual value. They serve as symbols of connection to the past and help create a sense of historical identity. The Talpiot tomb discovery invites us to rethink cultural memory within Christianity. If the bones in this tomb indeed belong to Jesus' family, they could serve as tangible connections to early Christianity. Throughout history, Christians have preserved artifacts and relics believed to be associated with Jesus, from pieces of the cross to the Shroud of Turin. Scientists have scrutinized and debated some relics, but the underlying value remains. Relics create a bridge across centuries, allowing believers to feel closer to the figures they honor. The ongoing study of the Talpiot tomb illustrates a unique moment where science and faith meet. For some, science provides answers to mysteries we once thought unknowable, revealing details about our ancestors through DNA analysis, carbon dating, and the latest archaeological technologies. For others, the journey to uncover the story behind this tomb is a testament to the power of faith, which often transcends material evidence. In this intersection of fact and faith, we see how the search for understanding drives us to keep asking questions and to keep looking deeper. Each discovery, from the statistical analysis of names in the tomb to the preservation of ancient bones, has brought us closer to a truth that remains, perhaps, just beyond our reach. The possibility that this site holds Jesus' family invites both believers and skeptics to think about what it means to explore the unknown and to face discoveries that might challenge or enrich our perspectives. If you're enjoying unraveling the mysteries of history and faith and finding meaning in the questions we explore together, consider supporting us by tapping the Super Thanks button. Your support is fueling our ability to keep diving into these fascinating stories, bringing fresh perspectives and revealing deeper insights. Every contribution is helping us bring you content that bridges the past with the present. The Talpiot tomb serves as a powerful reminder of the way history shapes our lives. It bridges the centuries, connecting us to a time when families shared burial spaces, honored their ancestors, and held fast to beliefs about life after death. In rediscovering ancient practices and early Christian beliefs, we also glimpse how those ideas evolved, adapted, and became the foundations for future generations. If the tomb indeed holds traces of Jesus' family, it offers a rare, tangible link to the origins of Christianity, making history feel alive, immediate, and deeply relevant. The preservation of such a site underscores the importance of legacy, not only as a record of past lives, but as a way of keeping traditions, teachings, and values alive in the present. In the same way, the story of Jesus has endured, woven into the lives of people worldwide, inspiring acts of compassion, social justice, and community. The Talpiot tomb serves as a reminder of the universal themes of mortality and resurrection that permeate human history, regardless of culture or era. Ancient societies confronted death with rituals and beliefs that helped them cope with the unknown and preserved the memory of loved ones. For Jesus' followers, his resurrection became a symbol of hope, a promise of eternal life that shaped Christian teachings and continues to inspire believers. The study of the Talpiot tomb, as it progresses with each technological advance, is more than an attempt to answer historical questions. It's a reflection of humanity's need to connect with the past and to understand the beliefs, values, and customs that continue to shape us. By exploring this tomb, we learn about those who knew Jesus and about ourselves, our desire for connection, continuity, and meaning. Beyond 2024, we will measure the legacy of the Talpiot tomb not only by the discoveries within its walls, but also by its ability to challenge our understanding of history and belief as interconnected forces. It reminds us that understanding who we are today is closely tied to where we come from, and that as we resolve past mysteries, we are creating future generations' stories. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.